Our story starts on August 18, 1890, when the Sumpter Valley Railway Company was incorporated in Oregon. David Eccles needed a railroad to furnish his Baker City sawmill with raw logs. By 1910, the railway stretched 80 miles from the sprawling mill in South Baker to Prairie City. At various points along this route, logs were gathered and loaded onto flat cars. These flat cars were brought to Sumpter Valley Railway by a variety of logging railroads that radiated from the SVRR in all directions. In fact, our wood-burning Heisler locomotive started out its life on one of these logging lines. To passengers and local residents, the SVRR was affectionately known as the Stump Dodger because of its winding route through the valley. In order to go from the thriving metropolis of Baker City to the rough and tumble boom town of Sumpter, the SVRR had to traverse some 20 miles of trestles, culverts, bridges, horseshoe curves, and switchbacks. When the Sumpter Valley Railway first started, all of its engines burned wood. Our Heisler still relies on this traditional fuel for its power. In fact, number 3 is one of the last operating wood burners of its type still operating in America. Firing her up takes the same patient attention that the engine required back in 1915, the year of her birth. First, number 3's banked fire is brought back to life. A valve is turned that releases some of yesterday's steam up the smokestack, thereby causing an artificial draft to the firebox. It's easier to start up a steam locomotive when there are a few pounds of pressure remaining in the boiler from her previous day's operation. In such a case, it takes about an hour or so to get the engine into operating condition.
You know how far your fan is? Oh, good. Is it full?
One of the most important duties in getting a steam locomotive ready is to lubricate all of its moving parts. Grease and oil keep gears turning and cylinders pumping. However, lubrication isn't just a once-a-day job. The engine crew will oil important areas of the locomotive after every run. The brake system on number 3 is an example of the first model that Westinghouse ever manufactured. This system's air compressor needs oil to keep its pump cylinder operating smoothly. Excess cinders from her huge spark-arresting smokestack have to be knocked out. This spark arrestor keeps burning cinders from escaping from the stack. Steam pressure rises as the fire burns hotter. Water must be injected into the boiler regularly to keep it above the level of the crown sheet. The dozens of lubrication points on a steam locomotive require a good deal of time to cover adequately. Some points can be filled once at the beginning of the day and left to operate automatically, while others require manual attention. In either case, it is one of the engine crew's chief responsibilities to keep these points oiled.
Not like the main, though, that you got it's not a rotary motion on the thing, it's just a back and forth.
Really have what it takes.
Maybe you can illuminate it from one side. Well, yeah, see here, you look back in there, up here. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Yeah, but right in there, you can see the end of the oil can where it was doing stuff.
To most people, a steam locomotive is an amazing assemblage of fire, gauges, pipes, and water. But what goes on inside its boiler is even more amazing. Superheated air from the firebox is drawn through tubes surrounded by water. These heated tubes turn the water to steam. The steam rises to the top of the boiler and into a dome, where it is channeled down to the driving cylinders. Wood for number 3 is loaded by hand onto pallets, which are then taken to either a railside platform or right to the locomotive itself. As she warms up to operating strength, excess steam is blown through her system. An electrical generator that powers her headlight is also steam-powered. After more fussing and primping, number 3 is ready to go to work.
Some like this thing here. Of course, it's pretty back to it. Right?
Before we head off towards Sumpter, we'd better make sure that our tender is filled with water and piled high with wood. Number 3 uses about a half quart of wood per round trip. The water she uses is pure melted snow from the surrounding mountains. This purity helps keep her boiler tubes free from mineral deposits.
I like these like this with brown. Get on anytime.
The cars are coupled, and the conductor says,
All aboard!
"We're ready to go to Sumpter." An ongoing project is to upgrade and maintain the condition of the rail line.
Well, when we're running the ballast through here, we've got to make sure to keep the ballast out of these switch points. Be real careful to keep it from the rail heads here so we don't have to dig it out.
Ballast is important because it helps to keep the ties and rails in place as trains pass over them. Currently, sections of our line are receiving loads of crushed river rock for this purpose. The freight cars you see here are used by the Sumpter Valley to deliver the rock to the work site. Previously, they used to work on narrow gauge lines in Pennsylvania and Alaska.
Cinch her up to 9. Dad? Yeah? Cinch her up to 9.
When the train reaches the area that needs ballasting, the cars are moved into position and their dump doors are ready. When ready, the two dump operators open the door and let the rock fall. An old railroad tie that is pushed along by the car's wheels levels the rock to an even height below the top surface of the rail. Everyone who is involved with the Sumpter Valley Railroad is a volunteer. Here's a group laying track for a rail yard next to the dredge depot. Here at Sumpter Valley Railroad, work is a labor of love. Now, almost 50 years after the railroad was disbanded, enthusiasm still runs high.
Definitely needs a coat of paint.
Volunteers are the lifeblood of the Sumpter Valley Restoration. Since 1971, members have rebuilt over 3 miles of track on the original right-of-way, restored number 3, a 2-truck, 40-ton Heisler locomotive, and set up seasonal passenger operations between Sumpter and Dredge Depot. Fundraising to pay for future expansion is also an ongoing challenge. Some of the projects include lengthening the main line, refurbishing more pieces of rolling stock, and returning to operating condition an SVRR Mikado 282 steam locomotive. These people truly love railroading. As our train continues up the valley, let's look ahead to the town of Sumpter. The SVRR reached here on October 31st, 1896. In a few years, thanks to a thriving gold boom, the town's population mushroomed to over 9,000. In its heyday, a floating population of 2,000 per day slept in tents or dugouts around the city. It was during these wild times that the world's longest continuous gold vein was mined. Today, Sumpter, Oregon is a sleepy little town, nestled back in the mountains. It is, however, an aggressive community. During many weekends throughout the year, the population once again swells as it did during the gold rush. But now, it's for pleasure. Flea markets, a Jews Harp convention, and the steam-powered Sumpter Valley Railway are among the events that keep Sumpter alive today. This abandoned gold dredge and endless piles of its rock tailings are all that's left to mark the passing of an era in Sumpter Valley. Our train is whistling into Sumpter Depot, so we'd better hurry if we don't want to miss our ride back. Let's sit back and enjoy a leisurely ride through beautiful eastern Oregon's Sumpter Valley on the new Sumpter Valley Railway.